Mardi Gras.
Check hosts the South by Southwest panel.
And not all festivals are about music.
All this and more coming up on Good Morning Texas. Good morning, Texas. Thank you for joining us for this Wednesday, March 5th. I'm Abigail Arredondo.
I'm Joseph Stewart.
And I'm Kayla Peterman. Welcome back to Good Morning Texas. Well, guys, how is your weekend going so far?
Pretty good. I'm happy that it's Wednesday. We're kind of getting closer to the weekend again.
Oh yeah, it's good with midweek vibe going on so far.
Sure,
Pretty good.
Exactly. And Joseph and Kayla, did y'all do anything fun this weekend?
I did.
I had a day off this weekend, so I took complete advantage of it and I stayed in my bed, which is not a normal activity for me, so I thoroughly enjoyed that. How about you?
Nothing like that day off. I actually got to hang with my mom this weekend. She came up here from Houston. We went to the movies, went to the Waffle House. We're not in that order, but we had a good time.
Yeah,
so
how sweet. That's awesome. Well, speaking of fun activities, you don't need to travel to New Orleans to celebrate Mardi Gras. Austin hosted its own celebration with the help of a few furry friends at the Mardi Gras Dog Parade. Let's take a look at these pups that like to party. Pug Rescue of Austin hosted the 4th annual Mardi Gras Dog Parade. Furry friends and their humans marched in the parade dressed in the very best Mardi Gras fashion. PRA rehabilitates abused or neglected pugs and pug mixes so they can one day become adopted.
I think that the reason that Austin is able to be kill-free is because we have so many breed-specific rescues. The beauty of a breed-specific rescue is that people know what they're getting into. They know how to find the personality of a dog that they like. The fosters know what they're getting into. You know what to expect.
Iris and many other pugs like her are looking for a forever home. This Mardi Gras parade gives them a chance to get one step closer to finding their family.
It was a community effort at the event where vendors fundraised for PRA and participants celebrated the Day of Pugs.
So really just being conscious of, where you shop, where you buy, and where you adopt, and then just also adopt, don't shop.
Abigail Arredondo, Good Morning, Texas.
So, what was the name of the pug that you were holding in the shot?
Her name was Iris. She was about 13 to 14 years old, and she was just so sweet. She was just cuddled up in my arms.
That's so precious. I love her. I haven't met her, but I love her already.
Yes.
That's just such a great opportunity to just celebrate dogs.
Of course.
I just love dogs, though. Like, they're my favorite animal in this entire world. And not only do I love dogs, I love brunch. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
I love going out, getting some pancakes, getting some waffles, but coordinating with my friends can be such a pain because we can't decide on anywhere. We want to go to Snooze, we want to go to Kirby, we just can't really decide. So I did some research and I stumbled upon the ATX Brunch Fest, where I got the best of like every possible brunch craving you could think of, and we can't take a taste, so let's take a look.
You've heard of the Mac and Cheese Fest and possibly even the Queso Festival, but have you heard of the Brunch Fest? The first ATX Brunch Fest was conceived by founder Alex Shebar with the goal to unite food lovers on a Sunday morning to taste what Austin's best brunch has to offer.
I think it's too easy for you to get into a bubble and just be like, I know my favorites, I'm just going to go there again and again, especially for brunch because you're tired and it's Sunday morning and you just don't know where to go. But a festival like this showcases 15 different spaces, all amazing, all worth checking out, all worth your time and your money, and you're going to find a new favorite here.
Shebar also valued the input of the community into arranging the festival.
That it was just, reaching out to the community. Who's your favorite brunch spot? What should be included? If I'm going to run this brunch festival, who should be there? And the answer is this. This is who should be there.
Whether you're in the mood for some yogurt or some pancakes, ATX Brunch Fest has a booth ready for you. So good. Brunch Fest didn't feature just foods, though. Stephanie with Evilise Designs was excited for the opportunity to meet the community and launch her business.
Just exposure. I just want to meet a lot of people, form some good relationships.
Although the festival was just launched, Shebar is hopeful for many more to come.
I mean, I love food festivals. I think the more food festivals in Austin, the better. It's, a low price ticket. You get to try a lot of cool things. I would love this to be a continuing thing. I would love to see the 10th annual ATX Brunch Festival 10 years from now.
Kayla Peterman, Good Morning, Texas.
That food looked really good.
It's making me hungry.
Really good.
Oh yeah, you know, I'll take hash browns over homework any day.
Oh, yeah.
But speaking of homework, many of us have used the website Chegg once or twice to help us in a bind, but they offer more than just homework help. Chegg hosted a panel Monday night highlighting statistics and trends on college campuses from their report, The State of the Student. We talked to Chegg's communication associate to find out how Chegg plans to use this information.
Every sort of statistic that I found extremely shocking and or really relatable to, I want to use that as a way to really segue into doing what I can at Chegg to make that difference. I mean, at Chegg, we consider ourselves the student voice. So I'd reach out to these students and say, I want to hear what you're talking about.
One of the student panelists tells us what he found most interesting about the report.
I think really just the scope of the student debt is what was really critical to me. And we had seen some statistics on that provided by the federal government, but Chegg's comprehensive statistics really highlighted just how grave the problem is and how quickly we need to address it.
You know, Joseph, I never really knew about all the resources that Chegg offered. I just knew, like, I ordered books from them sometimes.
Yeah, like I've heard of them, but like I've never really used Chegg before. So like
Exactly.
maybe I should like look into it more.
Oh, yeah.
It might be a big help to me in the future.
I was about to say, what a great way to show off some resources to students that they may not have known about. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, don't go anywhere. After the break, Kayla brings us the latest in news and a look at this week's weather. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Good Morning Texas. Kayla Peterman is in our News and Weather Center. What's the latest in the news, Kayla?
Thank you, Abigail. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Austin Tuesday to advocate for the PEOPLE Act, which would aid in the redistricting of congressional lines toward more bipartisan representation. This would mean that 5 selected Republicans, Democrats, and independents alike would oversee and approve new proposed districts. Other key aspects of this act include a national voter registration program, declaring Election Day as a national holiday, allowing for voluntary financing of campaigns with tax dollars, and requiring super PACs to disclose the donors behind the organizations. The Texas Senate passed a bill on Monday to allow for an annual pay raise for teachers and librarians, totaling $5,000 each year. Governor Greg Abbott declared teacher pay an emergency item for this legislative session, prompting lawmakers to get the ball rolling much quicker during the legislative process. This bill would allow for raises and help cover the increased cost of pension contributions on the behalf of the school districts and add protections from decreasing pay raises in the future. And finally, after the record low temperatures this week, the chance to take some cute bluebonnet photos may just have to wait. The LBJ Wildflower Center says that although the warmer temperatures recently sped things up and allowed little patches to pop up all over Austin, the cold snap certainly delayed the growth of our beloved bluebonnets elsewhere. So those that have already bloomed will most likely shed their petals, but they'll emerge once in the coming weeks, so just be patient. We'll get that cute aesthetic pic for the gram soon enough.
You know, Abigail, I think having Election Day as a national holiday, I think that's really going to help like voter turnout in the future. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. You know, I know some workplaces offer about 2 to 4 hours of paid time off for voters to get out to the polls, but I think having a national holiday could really get even more people out there.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Exactly.
And how's the weather this week, Kayla?
Well, Longhorns, we're not out of the cold just yet. Although the sun is shining super bright, we're looking at a high of 53 today, so I recommend you keep a jacket on just in case. Thankfully, there will only be a light breeze, so it should feel like a normal day in comparison to the freezing and windy weather we had earlier this week. Tonight, expect a low around 46 degrees. Thursday's high should reach 67, but brace yourself. We'll see wind gusts up to 20 miles per hour, so be sure to bundle up because it's going to feel much colder. Friday will have cloudy skies, but temperatures are on the rise with the high near 74 degrees. We may see rain in the evening, so bring an umbrella if you're going out on Friday night. The low will hover around 62. Saturday may see stormy skies, and with wind gusts around 20 miles per hour again, we're in for a dreary day. But on Sunday, we'll see those clouds go away. So spend some time outside and enjoy it while you can. The high is going to be around 72 degrees. Take advantage of it because the clouds and rain may return Sunday evening. That's it for me. Live from the Weather Center, I'm Kayla Peterman.
Thanks, Kayla. Don't go anywhere after the break. Our resident festival expert, Sean Dolan, gives us South by Southwest crash course.
special guest, TSTV News Director Sean Dolan. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Joseph.
So, South by Southwest kicks off soon. You've reported on a few festivals before. You and Jay Wan were at ACO last year. What do we need to know?
London, Hamburg, Austin, Beijing, Montreal, Mexico City. What all these global cities have in common? They will all be represented in Austin starting next week with the start of the South by Southwest Music Festival. We'll be seeing artists from garage punk to Afro pop and R&B to cumbia. More than 2,000 artists from over 60 countries will be flocking to the city in that time to network, perform, and get a head start on the upcoming festival season. The music portion of the festival will begin with a performance on the 11th with the Texas Gentlemen in the Rainey Street District and finish off with The Sound of Young China, Stolen, on the 17th at Elysium. South by Southwest is also home to a number of worldwide film premieres each year. In recent years, we've seen Isle of Dogs, Atomic Blonde, and Baby Driver premiere with some of Hollywood's biggest names in attendance. This year, the festival will be kicking off with the highly anticipated new Jordan Peele film, Us, tomorrow night at the Paramount Theater. We'll also see The Curse of La Llorona premiering at the tail end of the festival at the Paramount as well. Other than the headlining narrative premieres, some great documentaries are going to be dotted around the city. I want to highlight two in particular. One is titled Community First, a home for the homeless. There's an organization called Mobile Loaves and Fishes. And our sister show, Texas News Channel, actually tweeted this story out at the end of last month that created a 27-acre self-sustaining community, complete with a garden, a bus stop, and gathering spaces. This is definitely worth checking out. If you missed the first screening on Saturday at the Rollins Theater, you can catch it again on Monday or next Saturday as the film festival closes. The other documentary is titled Well Groomed. It focuses on the eccentric world of competitive, creative dog grooming. The documentary follows 4 pups and their owners as they compete across the country for titles. It screens on Sunday, Monday, and Thursday at the Alamo Drafthouse on Lamar. Finally, a South by Southwest breakdown would never be complete without highlighting the 3-day trade show at the Convention Center. Industry leaders from around the globe will be gathered all under one roof to debut the latest innovations in their field. Some of the areas on the trade show floor include digital filmmaking, autonomous transportation, and next-generation spaceflight, the future of food, and virtual and augmented reality technologies. This is definitely something that you don't want to miss, so be sure to make it down to the Convention Center between Sunday and Wednesday next week to get the full South by experience. Of course, I can't mention all of the cool things going on at South by this year, so keep an eye out for those less promoted events. You never know what you're going to find. And if you do go to any of the events I mentioned, or any that I didn't, be sure to tell us on Twitter @GoodMorningTX. That's it for me. Back to you, Joseph.
Sean, thank you so much for coming on air this morning. When we come back, wondering how to do your makeup for South by Southwest? Stay tuned. Makeup artist Reagan Lane joins us in studio.
Welcome back to Good Morning Texas. Makeup artist Reagan Lane is in studio today to give us tips on looking fabulous at South by Southwest. Welcome, Reagan.
All right, so the first thing we're going to do is work on contouring, bronzer, and highlighting, especially with like winter and summer coming up. I know it doesn't feel like that today, but it's really important to, really master that healthy glow.
Okay.
So the first thing I'm going to do is start with a big fan brush, and we're going to bronze before we contour.
Great.
So
where can we find these products, by the way?
So I'm using all MAC products today just because I work for MAC, so I am a little bit biased. Okay. I also know them to be really long wearing, so especially during festival season like South by Southwest, I really want something that's going to stay and be really impactful all day long, right?
Great, yes.
So I'm going to use this kind of lighter brown shade. I'm just going to kind of swirl on my brush. And rule of thumb when you're bronzing and contouring is that you're going to go from the very top of the ear and kind of draw that imaginary line down to the corner of the lip, right? So if I put my brush like this, you can kind of see where I'm going to follow. And I really like to build it up. Our model skin is super beautiful because she is a little bit lighter toned. We want to be really careful about using anything too orange.
Great.
Because we want it to look more like a natural shadow and not like a crazy orange blob.
Now, what is this look inspired by?
So the recent trend is a super contour bronze look, right, for the summertime. I really like Shay Mitchell. She's definitely a big inspiration for me. She's always got that super strong cheek and skin.
Yes.
Awesome. And I do like to throw a little bit on the forehead. It makes the face look a little bit unbalanced if you just have something really heavy on the cheek. So I do like to throw a little bit up on the forehead. And now we've got a nice like bronze start.
Yeah.
For a contour today, we're going to switch up. I'm using a single shade from MAC, which you can build your own palette at MAC. This is one of my favorites. It's more of a darker kind of beigey shade. It's not as warm. And I'm just going to use that same brush. And instead of going in the whole motion, I'm actually just going to throw it right on the bottom of the cheekbone to create kind of a nice gradient. And that's how you get that really beautiful contoured, carved cheekbone, like Angelina Jolie status. And then I also would take a little bit on the edge of the brush and go down the sides of the nose. Again, throwing a little bit of the same color in different areas of the face really balances out the face. It becomes really overwhelming if you just have color on the cheek and nothing to balance that out.
Kind of make it more natural.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
so for blush today, I'm using Pinch Me, which is also a matte color. It's one of my favorites, and just a regular angled brush. This one's actually from Sephora. And I like to, again, really build it up because we are a little bit lighter skinned. If I go in too heavy with blush, it'll look really overwhelming all at first. So I like to kind of pat that into the bronzer and blush because they're like BFFs. They work together to create a nice effect onto the cheek.
So now, Reagan, I'm no beauty guru, so what essentials should we be carrying when we're around at the festival?
I would say a mini, like a travel facial spray to rehydrate, or a matte facial spray if you're a little bit more oily, something that you can kind of touch up the powder naturally with. A small brush that you can buy at like H-E-B, something to just quickly powder yourself, and a waterproof setting powder and lip balm, right? Especially like a colored lip balm so that you can kind of throw it on and then retouch as you go.
Okay.
So.
Wow, nice. Well, so what do you think the looks are trending nowadays? I know you said more, since it's more summery.
Yes.
So what can we do to like kind of go with the season?
Yeah, so the trend forecast is definitely looking at color, but color in a way that's really refined. As we move into, again, summer and spring, you see a lot more of those like really bright blush colors, pinks. I've seen a lot of like blues and greens kind of come back this season on the eyes, so vibrant eyes is definitely out there. Warmer toned eyeshadow palettes as well, again, so like the orangey reds and like the beigey kind of colors that kind of mimic the skin's natural undertones are really popular right now because we want our skin to look really warm and healthy. Healthy is another trend that is definitely coming with the upcoming season. So just looking really healthy and fresh with that color, but in a way that's really refined. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much, Reagan.
Yeah.
And thank you for tuning in. Next week, we will have a special South by Southwest episode. You won't want to miss it. As always, be sure to follow us on Twitter for news updates throughout the week. You can follow us at Good Morning TX on Twitter. Be sure to tune into Tower Talks later tonight at 6. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Thank you. Wow.